What started out as a small fight at a California high school escalated into a riot. In fact, it took 50 cops to bring the kids under control. Now, this is just one of many fights that went on all day at the high school in Lawndale, California, just outside L.A. The violence started when two girls got into a fist fight.
A Mexican girl came up to her and started hitting her in the stomach. So all the black guys got together and the Mexican dude and just started fighting.
At least 500 students got involved in the riot. Officers closed traffic around the school and started rounding up the kids. School officials wouldn't comment, but according to one student, the fighting is being sparked by racial tension.
San Jose city officials are trying to put several members of an alleged Sereno gang in the Rock Springs area out of business.
The King case, you may recall, began with a high-speed chase by Los Angeles police. In the Los Angeles suburbs today, a gunman led police on what police said was a similar high-speed chase, but with a different ending. This kind of thing happens a lot, but we don't often have pictures of it. Regina Blakely has the story and the pictures of what happened today.
For over an hour, it was a wild and terrifying chase. A gunman hijacked a pickup, forcing his hostage to speeds up to 100 miles an hour, going from a crowded freeway through neighborhood intersections and streets.
Now he's firing at officers.
The man fired shots randomly out the truck window as the chase went through 4 California counties.
The car saw it come by and we ran in the house. We dove on the floor. We hit on the floor and we didn't know where he was.
The truck finally skidded to a halt in a cul-de-sac in Orange County.
And that's when the passenger jumped out with the gun and started hopping over the fences into the neighbor's yards over to this block. He was firing when he was running.
But he ran into a dead end, and with nowhere else to go, the man dropped the weapon and surrendered. Officers moved in and made the arrest. The chase started with an attempted robbery in Pomona, where one policeman was wounded. Though the city was gripped by the spectacle, which was carried live on local television, in the past, questions have been raised about the safety of high-speed pursuits like this one. Today, however, no bystanders were hit. The gunman will be charged with attempted murder. Police have arrested a second suspect, and a third is being hunted. Regina Blakely, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Seized. News Center 4's Tom DeVries reports.
I'm going to be en route to 8401 Olive. If you could have the beat officer 40 with me for an attempt warrant service.
8401 Olive Street in East Oakland has been busted so many times, the police know people there by their first names.
Travis is the one I'm looking for. Travis is at school? Yeah. And Fred is where?
In an otherwise well-kept neighborhood, the mess at the corner stands out. The electricity's been turned off, there's no heat, and the trouble has spilled over to 2 adjacent houses.
That's got a leaky sewer under there, that's why it's so messy. They're using them for smokehouses.
There have been 17 arrests here in 9 months, 16 of them for drugs. In spite of this, neighbors admit the drug business hasn't stopped. All the arrests haven't worked, so now the police and the Oakland City Attorney have a court order to stop the drugs. Believe it or not, it might be a better threat. It certainly carries a higher price tag.
They don't stop, then it's contempt of court. Then we take the house, we seize it, we seize everything inside of it, we board it up, we don't allow it to be used for a full year, plus we fine them $25,000.
Police this week are looking for the building's owner, Freddie Mayo, to serve him with the order. Today they found only relatives.
Hey, I said don't film me.
A year from now, officers said they expect 8401 Olive to have a family living in it, one with a legal income. In East Oakland, Tom DeVries, News Center.
An unsuspecting FBI agent walked in on a bank robbery in Las Vegas today, and when it was over, the agent had been killed. Apparently, Agent John Bailey went to a bank to serve a subpoena. It turned out the bank was in the process of being robbed. Agent Bailey spotted the suspect, pulled his gun, and Bailey was shot and killed. The suspect ran off. Police got him, though. 27-year-old Carlos Gurry is behind bars tonight.
Of striking workers striking tourists.
On the dazzling Las Vegas Strip, there's one show running the city doesn't want you to see. Visitors who came here for the fun getting caught up in an ugly strike. These are surveillance tapes made by the Frontier Hotel, showing what's happened as many as 50 times when workers on the picket line lose their tempers. At least some of the people seen being attacked were tourists coming in or leaving the hotel.
Everybody has their breaking point.
Hotel's on strike, folks. Thanks for not going.
The culinary workers who've been striking the frontier for 20 months now say in most cases they were being harassed.
They get spat upon, they get drinks thrown at them, sometimes they get guns pulled on them, knives pulled on them.
The union has publicly apologized for some of the attacks, but is also charging the hotel with deliberately sending people out to push them to the edge. The hotel denies that.
Watching her getting beat up across the street just put me in such a rage.
Sean White and his wife, two visitors from California, said they were part of no conspiracy. She says she was simply talking to the picketers when this happened.
I said, you should go out and get a job. And that right then, the one girl, she punched me in the face, and the other one started spitting on me.
416 now, here in progress.
Whether or not any of the violence is justified, those responsible for the city's image want to make one thing clear.
It's an unfortunate incident, but fortunately it's only confined to one spot on the Strip.
The only place in town on strike. Pass it on by.
And tonight, there's no end in sight to what has been one of this country's longest and sometimes nastiest labor disputes. Bill Agatuda, CBS News, Las Vegas.
Only 23. All that enforcement, all that firepower is making a huge difference. Robberies down 57%. Assaults with deadly weapons down 39%. Vehicle theft down 66%. Other thefts down 37%. Even this empty park is a victory here in East Palo Alto. Wasn't long ago, drug dealers and other ne'er-do-wells hung out here. The police have cleaned them out, and now the park is available once again for children. It's like that all over the city, and the people who live here love it.
I don't know what they did, but thank God they did it.
What they did was just old-fashioned police work. Go after the bad guys, go after them a lot.
But now it's getting to be a lot better. Kids can come outside and play on the street, ride their bikes and stuff.
Kids like these two. Listen to what 15-year-old Annika Howard says about the change.
It ain't no more people out. There ain't no guns. It ain't nothing. It's just quiet. I like it this way, though.
And police are looking forward to even better news next month.
These stats are going to continue to tumble. It has to be that way.
So in East Palo Alto, when they doubled the number of cops, they doubled the standard of living.
They're doing a real good job.
Hollywood neighborhood is shaken tonight after police caught a rapist in the act. Our Crime Watch reporter Will Spence is on the scene, and he has details for us. Will.
Willoughby Avenue, West Hollywood. The LAPD says there was a rape on this street Sunday morning. 50-year-old woman out jogging, comes back, leaves her door open expecting a friend, jumps into the shower, comes out of the shower, say police, and there's a man in her house. That man drags her into the bedroom, say police, and proceeds to rape her. The friend shows up, sees what's happening, jumps outside, calls 911. The police show up, and the rapist, still apparently attacking the woman, threatens to stab the woman with her own scissors. The police fired 2 shots, killing the rapist. So tonight, there is a suspect in the morgue, a victim in the hospital, and reaction in the neighborhood.
An act of violence perpetrated on any human being is difficult for people when it occurs in your neighborhood.
You're right next door. Do you worry about your own safety?
Of course, and everybody in the neighborhood is worried for their own safety.
I hope that she doesn't receive the HIV virus. And my prayers are with her.
We cannot take the kids to play across the street to our own park and the sun is full of epidermic needles and things that we cannot even mention over the TV.
There is some tension in this middle-class neighborhood. Directly across the street from where the rape occurred, there is a park with almost a dozen homeless living in it.
It's reflecting on a lot of other people here.
What do you explain that? What do you mean?
Because I was here and a guy came in who lives in the neighborhood, and he started getting racial with the black people here, and he was like, "Why don't you niggas just get out of here?"
What do you say about the fact that some of the neighbors worry about the transients in the park here?
There's no connection. These transients, we're not rapists. These guys are not rapists up here. They're alcoholics. They're not jumping through anybody's window to rape anybody.
The suspect was identified by the coroner this morning using fingerprints. They don't know yet where he lived or what he was doing in the Los Angeles area. He does have a felony record with the FBI. There was a neighbor woman here who identified the suspect after he had been shot and killed. She says he was the same man she found in her house 10 days ago. The police are saying that man apparently had been working this area looking for burglary and obviously other things. So that's the situation here in West Hollywood. We are live. Back to the studio, John and Kelly.
Okay.
Increase. Poverty and hopelessness tag along.
The dope is going to be out here no matter what. They can do what they want to do.
It's estimated 1/3 of the households here depend, at least in part, on crime to survive.
Let us assume that there are 2 drug dealers in a family of 5 or 6. The other people in that family will not be dealing drugs. But that money will go to the family. It's not always selfish. This is an interestingly family-oriented community.
Criminologist Dick Blum says the business of East Palo Alto is crime, and that shows up in the head count. 24,000 live here. Blum says at any given moment, 1,000 of them are in jail or prison, another 1,000 out on probation or parole. Unemployment is a staggering 41%.
I heard you were actually considering moving.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't like living in an oppressive situation either. And I look at it, some people say, well, you're running out. I don't feel like it's a run out. I think it's a way of looking for a better life.
And that's the former mayor. She's fed up, and she's not alone. White flight has turned to black flight. African Americans are selling their homes, replaced for the most part by Latinos and Pacific Islanders. Blacks now make up less than half the population.
I just want peace everywhere, you know what I'm saying?
But peace is in such short supply here. Last month, things got so bad, the school board floated a plan to buy death benefits for its students. If East Palo Alto could not protect its young, it could at least bury them.
I cannot adequately describe the frustration of my staff when approached by a parent grieving for the loss of a child and unable to raise the funds needed to bury that child.
I had a Dallas paper call me and they said to me, aren't you afraid to walk outside? And I'm like, no. I mean, and so this image is that, you know, there's people wildly running down the streets with guns wailing out of the back of cars and everybody's in fear for their life. And I don't want that being projected.
Sharifa Wilson is the new mayor. She's hoping to change East Palo Alto, and she's not alone. Most of those living here are hardworking, do want a better life.
This one is the pride. Yeah, the kids, when they come out, they love this one.
Leroy Musgraves is teaching his neighbors how to grow their own food. Larry Calloway is organizing a neighborhood patrol.
If you take that fear and channel into a positive direction, then you can make a difference.
But if good intentions could change this city, East Palo Alto would already be different. What this community needs is money, a lot of money. And there's money out there that wants to come here. So what's the holdup? Politicians. Tomorrow we'll show you how the city government has crippled this city. In East Palo Alto, Michael Finney, Channel 7 News.
Closing arguments are scheduled to begin tomorrow in the trial of Lance Parker. Parker is accused of firing a shotgun at Reginald Denny's truck at the beginning of the L.A. riots. He's also charged with firing at a woman in a white car and at a Unocal gas station on the corner of Florence and Normandy, the flashpoint of the riots. During the trial, Henry Watson and Damian Williams were both called to testify. Watson says he never saw Parker or heard any shotgun blasts. I understand that.
I do.
We don't know if it qualifies as fine dining, but the daily meals for some Northern California prison inmates have some people wondering what's going on up there. Now, these inmates don't eat regular prison slop. No, sir. Their meals, every one of them, come from Denny's. The reason why? Their prison has no kitchen. The jail took bids, and Denny's came in the cheapest at $3 per meal.
One cold and 2 hot. They have to have 1 cold meal and 2 hot every day.
Now, Jackson County dietitian selects the food, so the inmates don't actually get to pick their own meals. If they did, we doubt if the favorite would be the Grand Slammer.
Oh, that's...
That's one of mine, though.